What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another 90-day fiancé video, and this one right here is all about Usman and Kimberly. But before we get into it, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel, that is a member of Patreon, and that is a subscriber as we continue to grow. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Kimberly and Usman, at this moment in time, on the most recent episode of 90-Day Fiancé Happily Ever Allegedly After, shall I say, Season 7, Episode 4, well, Usman was on a mission again to try and explain to Kimberly why he needs an extra wife, and also why he needs not just one extra wife, but at least 3 extra wives, because, well, he's looking to build a whole family of tons and tons of children. But at the same time, what did Usman do wrong in this situation? He decided to bring his friend to the meeting as well. Even though it was a conversation between A and B, he decided to bring C in it. And we all know how it goes, right? A and B, you can see yourself out, but A, C yourself was introduced into the conversation, which definitely did not help Usman in any way, which then also resulted in Kimberly then getting a drink and throwing it all over Usman, which definitely was not the right direction. But let's check out exactly what Kimberly had to say after she had made actions of throwing the drink towards, or at, shall I say, Usman himself in particular.
Usman brought me to meet his friend KB tonight to talk about his 2 wives. It didn't turn out well. I'm pissed because I feel like Usman is not listening to me when it comes to my concerns about him taking a second wife. And now Usman's telling me that the second wife is loved completely as much as I would be, and this is not what he told me in the past. So I was like, fuck him, I'm gonna disrespect him right back.
So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Usman has obviously decided to explain to her how it all works. I mean, it is something they should have explained way back, absolutely. But the good thing is, they're not exactly married yet anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. Well, I mean, it does make a difference because she has spent a lot of money to try and get this man to be her man. But to be fair, her spending all that money in terms of buying him gifts and also traveling to Nigeria, can we blame that on Usman for not being 100% clear with Kimberly? Yes, we can, but at the same time, Kimberly is a grown-ass woman who should have known better than to spend money on a guy that hasn't given her full clarification, because at the end of the day, each time she flies to see him, there always seems to be these loopholes, these gaps of things that they haven't spoken about prior. And that really and truly we can only blame on both Kimberly and Usman. So therefore, is Kimberly in a position where she should be throwing her drink towards Usman's direction? Absolutely not. And to be fair, just to add on to that as well, here's the thing. So Usman's coming in, he's telling you that he's obviously going to love the other woman as much as he's going to love you. I mean, listen, why in the hell would someone sign up to have a kid with him, but then not have any emotional connection with him? That wouldn't make any sense. Unless, of course, she was a surrogate, which obviously we know that the second wife would not be one. So therefore, of course, he's going to build some sort of emotional relationship. So how that wasn't even common sense to Kimberly, that is even worrying as well. For a woman of her age, she should have also known better about the fact that as a woman, it's not easy to always just have sex with someone and give them a kid and not actually have any emotion towards them, especially if it's someone that you've actually been talking to and you know it's someone that's actually going to be in your life for pretty much the rest of your life as well. So her being so naive to that is absolutely stupid, absolutely irate, and therefore her reaction is way, way over the top. But of course, because Usman's come forward with this information and also brought his friend, she hasn't lied to it, so therefore she decided to curse. At this moment in time, when she cursed, Usman was like, legit, he was like, you do not curse at a Nigerian man like this. Listen, don't get me wrong, for me, myself in particular, I do curse here and there, but of course, you know, in a situation between you and your partner, would I ever use a foul language? No, I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's a level of respect between us. We're having a conversation that is serious. All the words are always going to be proper. It's never going to be any slow words. But of course, if you're playing around, having a little bit of fun, it's a different conversation, right? Moral of the story is this, is that Usman, of course, wasn't happy with the fact that Kimberly decided to use a cuss word instead. Now, of course, is the cuss word too far? Well, that depends on the people involved in the relationship. For me, myself in particular, it would be too far in a conversation that we're trying to have, because it shows that clearly we are escalating the situation. The situation is about to get even more toxic. But of course, there were some people who live a lifestyle where they curse left, right, and center, so it doesn't really make a difference. So for those people, you won't really be able to relate to the next thing I'm going to say. I know, to what I've just said. But also on top of that, it's one thing for her to start using swear words, you know, foul language, but then for her to then go as crazy as throwing a drink all over him, the question is, was there any need? Fair enough, he's come here, he's ambushed you with his friend, but physicality has not happened to the slightest. And let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, once someone gets comfortable throwing things to someone, eventually after that, they'll get comfortable with then hitting them. And then once they get comfortable hitting them, you never know what's going to happen. So really and truly, her doing that is pretty much a form or is domestic violence. And that is why it's something that has to be called out, because at the end of the day, just because you have decided to pay to fly all the way to Nigeria for a man that you're not even too sure if he wants to be with you, well, to be honest with you, you can only hold yourself accountable. So Kimberly, for that, with that being said, is pretty much being a prat, and she needs to do better, if you dig what I'm saying. But let's continue and see what else she had to say for herself in the rest of this scene.
So I throw a milkshake at him. He brings me here to do this shit. And then when I start asking questions, he keeps interrupting me still. And I'm trying to get clarity. And then he gets loud with me, like, don't do that shit. Don't. I feel the way he was talking to me was so fucking disrespectful. That's how I feel. I was willing to sit down there and listen. You know how hard this is for me anyway? I have every right to ask any fucking thing I want. And why can't we mold it so it fits my lifestyle as well? Why do I have to meet her? I don't live here. And then he's like, he thinks it's funny he's talking about this third and fourth wife. Because I'll bail out now.
She did something like this before in Zanzibar, but it was not as bad as this. I think I'm getting the sign right now to do the right thing.
You know, Usman can talk about how she's done this before, but it wasn't as bad as before. Excuse me, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if what she did before wasn't as bad as what she did now, because if she did it before, it means it was always going to happen again. And the more it happens, the more it gets worse. This goes back to what I was saying before. When someone gets comfortable with the idea of being able to throw things at you, it will always escalate time and time again. This is just the beginning, Usman. But to be honest with you, the fact that you want to justify it the first time is pathetic, is sad, and contradicts the fact that you was upset when she decided to use a cuss word in the first place. Because at the end of the day, this is a woman that you know very well, and therefore you should have been ready for anything that she was going to bring towards you. But for some bizarre reason, he thinks being a Nigerian man gives him some kind of power over an American woman. Key point, he thinks being a Nigerian man gives him power over an American woman. I'll repeat that one more time. No, I won't, because at the end of the day, if you don't get it, you don't get it. But at the end of the day, if Usman wants to have power as a Nigerian man, then he shall find a Nigerian woman, and not actually as if he's got the power to actually convert a woman that is not Nigerian, who has been raised in a completely different manner. And because she's been raised in a completely different manner, is one key reason of why they are not compatible, never will be compatible, and also the key reason why baby girl Lisa had to bounce, because she obviously knew that it was never going to work, and so did he. It's kind of sad, kind of pathetic. No, it is pathetic that he decided to pretty much go in the same position again, but this time, rather than baby girl Lisa, he's coming in it with Kimberly instead. And to be honest with you, Kimberly is so much more of an idiot compared to baby girl Lisa, because, well, she left in the end. Kimberly is still here again. Why are you here? I don't understand. She talks about how her son's opinion matters, but yet all of a sudden, every time her son says something, she never wants to actually listen to anything that he says. She talks about being in a relationship for God knows how many years that didn't work out because of such ridiculous vibes that happen in it, but it looks as if some of those traits that happen in that relationship is bringing them into this one. Difference is, this is on TV. I mean, if there's a way to embarrass yourself, Kimberly, you keep doing what you're doing and you're going to keep on embarrassing yourself. And to be honest, if I was your son at this moment in time, I would cut ties even real quick, because I don't want nobody seeing my mum on TV acting like a complete wallop. And then I've got to look at my friends and they say, "Oh, we saw your mum the other day on TV. Yeah, she was misbehaving, wasn't she? Oh. By the way, did she ever put her hands on you as a kid? Because let's be real, she's got the ability to put hands on a man here who said that she never had the ability to put hands on her own kid. Again, I'm not speculating. I'm not saying these are things that happen. What I'm saying is that what she's doing is going to have a ripple effect on her. Whether the ripple effect is based on truth or conspiracies, either way, she's opening up that window. And that is one of the biggest problems with Kimberly. She does not think about her actions in any kind of way. It's so freaking sad. Also, at the same time, Usman is also a complete toilet for allowing this to continually happen, purely because, in my opinion, I just think that he keeps around because she keeps bringing in stuff. At the end of the day, the more she keeps spending money on him, the more and more he's going to keep around. And he's going to put up with all this madness, because in reality, his end game, if you ask me, is not to marry Kimberly. His end game is to finally find a woman who's going to give him his children. All this right here is just all a little bit of clout. And I think, to be honest with you, Kimberly needs to wake the F up and realize that this man doesn't love you. He doesn't like you. He doesn't find you attractive. He doesn't want you. He's never wanted you. But hey, some of us can obviously see what's in front of us. Meanwhile, some of us are just desperate because we don't want to be alone. And some of us think that being with a young man makes us look better. It doesn't. Maturity makes you look better. Process that. Nonetheless, though, let's continue with a little bit more. And then, of course, we'll round up the video. Let's get it.
It is too late. She's revealing some kind of attitude I don't know before. So it is all good because it's better for me to know now. before he's going to... Yeah, before he's to be late. I do not expect that behavior from Kimberly, and actually I don't want that behavior from my future wife. In my culture, a woman is 100% submissive to her husband. So like Kimberly, need to start showing respect and be loyal to me, especially with my friends around.
And that is where we call it absolutely quits, and we end the video right there, because everything he said there is exactly what he wants. But like I said before, that is everything that he will never get from an American woman. And, well, to be fair, arguably from any woman that was raised completely differently and was not raised based on his culture. If he wants a woman that's outside of his culture and outside of his laws and X, Y, and Z nonsense, well, then he needs to look in the right places. Because what he's doing right now, he's not looking in the right places. And it's quite embarrassing that he's allowing himself to be on TV and to be pretty much embarrassed, to be bullied, to be picked on, to be humiliated. You got to think all of those people from his villages that are watching him thinking, Usman, we thought, you know, Usman, the man is in charge, but we see you getting whooped by a woman every single episode. What's going on here? All this for fame? Usman, I'm not going to lie to you. I may be your friend. I'm not talking about me, of course. I'm just role-playing, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Role play. But let's go back into it. Usman, I may be your friend. I might be your father. I might be your whatever. But trust me when I tell you, you can go on this show as many times as you want. Your music is always going to be trash. You're never going to make it. So stop with the music nonsense and find yourself a woman at home and then just live a happy life rather than go on a TV show and look like a complete fool and embarrassing people from our tribe. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you let me know what you're thinking in the comment section and we'll most certainly talk about it. But hey, like I said before, Kimberly needs to do better. If I was her son, I'll be blocking her until she's ready to come back home. That's %. You dig what I'm saying? But don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Peace.